Let's be honest, right? Setting up a new development environment, it can be the single most frustrating part of learning any new piece of tech. But I want you to think about it this way. What we're doing right now is pouring a critical foundation. If we get this part right, everything, and I mean everything, you build on top of it is going to be solid, stable, and just so much faster to work with. Okay, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with why a solid setup really matters, then we'll map out the blueprint of our modern stack. After that, we'll get into the crucial ELT mindset shift, and this is a big one. Then we'll walk step by step through wiring all the tools together, demystify that critical connection file, and wrap up by getting that awesome green light that tells us everything is working just perfectly. So, first things first. Look, I know it's tempting to just dive in and start writing code, but trust me, taking the time to build a proper, professional setup from day one, that's what's going to save you from countless headaches and those weird, impossible-to-trace errors down the road. I just love this quote because it is so true. This initial investment of time, this careful setup we're about to do, this is what makes that powerful, super fast development DBD is known for even possible. Rushing this step? It's like trying to build a skyscraper on a weak foundation. You know it's just not going to end well. All right, with that idea of a solid foundation in mind, let's take a look at the actual blueprint for our modern data stack. We're going to be wiring together 4 main components, and really understanding what each one's specific job is, well, that's the key to the whole thing. What I find so cool about this setup is just how clear the separation of roles is. Think about it like this. VS Code is your workbench. It's where you actually do the work. Git, that's your safety net. It tracks every single change you make, so you can always go back in time if you mess something up. And Snowflake, that's the powerhouse. It's the engine and the warehouse where all your data lives and the queries actually run. And DBT? DBT is the magic in the middle. It's the translator. And honestly, this might be the single most crucial point for anyone just starting out with DBT. DBT itself doesn't execute your queries. It doesn't store your data. It is a brilliant compiler. It takes the code you write in VS Code, with all the powerful Jinja and macros, translates it into the pure, optimized SQL that Snowflake understands perfectly, and then just hands it over to Snowflake to do all the heavy lifting. Okay, now for those of you coming from legacy systems, maybe you've worked with SAS or written a ton of complex stored procedures, this next part is a really fundamental mindset shift. We have to completely rethink the order of operations we're used to. So the whole ball game is right here on the screen. In the old ETL world, we had to extract data, then transform it, usually on some separate, often underpowered server, before we could load it into the warehouse. With the modern ELT approach, we're flipping the last 2 steps. We extract and load the raw data directly into our warehouse first, and then we do all the transformation right inside the warehouse itself. So what changed, right? Why can we all of a sudden do this when we couldn't before? What's the key piece of technology that unlocked this whole new paradigm? And the answer really is one thing: the absolutely immense, scalable power of tools like Snowflake. See, older data warehouses, they just couldn't handle the compute load of complex transformations. But Snowflake was built from the ground up to separate storage from compute. That means we can spin up a massive, powerful warehouse just to run our DBT jobs and then spin it right back down. We're leveraging its power on demand. That is the game changer. Okay, enough of the why. Let's get to the how. It's time to go from theory to practice. We're going to walk through the exact steps to wire all these amazing tools together. And we'll do it in a couple of logical chunks, starting up in the cloud and then moving to our local machine. So first, we've got to prepare our destination, Snowflake. We'll run a pretty simple script to create 3 things: a dedicated warehouse just for compute power, a dedicated role just for permissions, and a new database for all of our development work. This follows what's called the principle of least privilege, which is a huge security best practice. We're giving DBT exactly the permissions it needs to do its job and absolutely nothing more. Awesome. Next up, let's set up our local workbench. We make a project folder, and then, and this part is really important, we create a Python virtual environment. Think of this like giving your project its own clean, isolated little sandbox. It keeps all of its specific parts, like the DBT Snowflake library, completely separate from any other Python projects on your computer. It's just a clean, professional habit to get in. We've now arrived at what is, I think, often the most confusing and definitely the most critical part of the whole setup: handling your credentials. How in the world does DBT on your laptop know how to securely talk to your Snowflake account way up in the cloud? This really is the million-dollar question.
We're going to be using Git for version control, right? We're sharing our project code with our teammates. The absolute last thing you ever want to do is accidentally commit your database password into your project's Git history. So if it doesn't go there, where does it go?
And this brings us to dbt's really elegant solution, a special file called profiles.yaml. This file is created outside of your project folder, usually in a hidden directory right in your user's home folder. And this creates a perfect separation of concerns. Your project code is public, it's shareable, but your profiles.yaml file with all your secret credentials, that stays private, local to your machine, and never ever gets checked into Git.
Now, the good news is you don't even have to create this file by hand. When you run the dbt init command in your terminal, it basically acts like a helpful wizard. It'll walk you through a series of prompts asking for all of these details you see here. Then, it takes your answers and automatically generates that secret profiles.yml file in the correct, safe location for you. Pretty cool, huh?
So, we've prepped Snowflake, we've set up our local environment, and we've configured our connection. Now it's time for the moment of truth. Let's make absolutely sure that all this wiring we just did actually works, and our local machine can successfully talk to our warehouse in the cloud.
So, after you run dbt init, you'll hop into your new project folder and run this one simple command, dbt debug. Seriously, this command is going to be your new best friend. It's your single source of truth. It checks your profiles file, it tries to connect to Snowflake with your credentials, and it verifies that everything, the role, the warehouse, the database, actually exists and is accessible to you.
And this right here is the message you're looking for. Seeing all checks passed pop up in green, that's the payoff. That's your green light. It's the confirmation that your foundation is solid. Your local workbench is officially and securely talking to your cloud warehouse engine. From this point on, the real fun can finally begin.
Oh, and one last pro tip before we wrap this up. To make your development life so much easier, go install these two VS Code extensions right now. Better Jinja will give you proper color coding for all your DBT code, which is a must, and DBT Power User, well, it's the absolute gold standard. It lets you run models with a click, see your data lineage right inside your editor, and so much more. It will totally supercharge your workflow.
And there you have it. You've just poured a rock-solid, professional-grade foundation for all of your DBT development. You get the architecture, you understand the ELT mindset, and you've nailed the secure connection process. All the wiring is complete, and the light is green. So the only question left is, what amazing things are you going to build first?